right, as usual, we'll have Coach O'Connor make an opening comment, and then we'll have questions for our student athletes first.
Yeah.
So, Damon, Marty, you guys are all good in the back. Hold on a second, let's get these box scores out here.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. Just first, Mississippi State has a great team, incredibly well coached. We're fortunate to be sitting here tonight as the regional champions. It's something our guys earned, but any time you have a chance to go up against somebody that's a school that has one of the most storied college baseball programs in this country, you knew that it was going to be a great game, and just really, really proud of our guys. The fight that they showed, doing whatever it takes to come out as the champion, just really, really impressive. I told the team when we huddled it up after that it didn't surprise me, because I know the fiber that these young men are made of. I know how committed they are to each other, and just incredibly impressive. I'll say this, that you give young men an opportunity like Jay Woolfolk had tonight, and you see what they're made of, right? And the outing that he had was one of the best outings we've ever had in my 21 years at Virginia in such a pivotal game. He was phenomenal. I would have loved to have seen him finish the game. That was the plan, but it didn't work out. But just amazing. Jay Woolfolk is going to have that for the rest of his life. When his team counted on him and he needed to step up, he pitched the best game that he's pitched in our uniform in 3 years. And, many years down the road, he'll be able to reflect on that. And when he's challenged in his life, or when he needs to step up for whoever it is, he can reflect back on this opportunity he had tonight and, remember what he did when everybody needed him most. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say how incredible our crowd was. The atmosphere, them sticking it out through the rain, was just incredibly impressive. I get text messages throughout this weekend from friends of mine that really don't know college baseball but have been watching it on TV, and I've gotten so many messages to say that this environment here at the Dish is the best that they see on TV, and how loud the crowd is, how much they're into it. The players feed off that, and when you have all those people behind you that you're going to go out and have energy and play your best baseball. So just proud of what this team has accomplished. Just on the ride up here, I was told that we'll be playing in our 9th Super Regional in the last 15 years. That shows the consistency of which these guys play with year after year, and I know they're excited and looking forward to the opportunity they'll have next weekend, but we'll certainly enjoy this one first, because we don't take it for granted at all.
Hold on just a second before we start. We'll move this over here. You guys share this one. Jay's got one on the end. Jeff, we'll start with you.
Jay, this season's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride for you. What was tonight like?
It was everything that I think a pitcher wanted to come out and do as a starter in a regional. I know this season might not have been the best that I wanted to, but when you have teammates like these guys, and you have coaches like Coach Oak who believe in you, who keeps throwing you out in those type of situations, you never lose confidence in yourself, no matter what goes on in that mound. So this performance that I had was, I give it all to them, honestly. I just went out there and played, but, without them, I wouldn't have the confidence that I had to go out there and execute like I did.
Jay, when you were coming off the mound each time, you were pumping your fist and waving to the crowd. What was it like, after the season you had, hearing the reaction from the crowd, and what were your emotions there?
Well, I kind of blacked out on every single one of those moments. I don't really remember anything that happened after. But, just hearing the crowd, erupt after, 3 outs, it was probably the best feeling I've had on the mound. So.
Greg?
Jay, 2 weeks ago, you told me the team was good enough to go to Omaha without you, but you'd like to be a big piece in it. What's changed the last couple of weeks where you started to put together for a performance like this?
Nothing's really changed since then. I think I've always just been that one pitch that's, messed up a lot of things. But I don't think nothing's really changed ever since I told you that. So, tonight I just didn't make that one bad pitch. So I think that's, getting ahead in the count was probably the biggest thing that helped me, really, get through those 8 innings.
Preston?
Yeah, Jay, a lot of football guys walking around the concourse tonight. When you made that decision last summer, is this what you kind of dreamed of or envisioned for yourself?
Oh, definitely. Being able to, be in this regional, now hosting a super regional, but the fans and games at night, this is what, every kid dreams of, coming to, UVA or whatever school they go to play baseball. This is a dream come true, honestly, but we all know we're not done yet. So, we still got a whole another weekend to play, so, to get where we really want to get to, so.
Jay, I know we just talked about the atmosphere of the crowd, but how much did that actually feed into your pitching and push you forward beyond what maybe you may have been able to do otherwise?
Yeah, it's definitely a factor. You feed into that. You want to keep them screaming and yelling like they did. You can see it in the 9th inning when we had them 6 runs. I think, if we don't have that, that inning might have not happened. So, the crowd is a big part of what, our success here at UVA is. So.
Jeff and Mike?
Griff, Arkansas got eliminated from its regional about an hour before this game started. Were you guys aware of that? Did coaches say anything about where you might be playing for?
No. We were just focused. We were trying to win this game, and then we were going to look afterwards. But we were watching the game in the locker room hours before we started warming up, but we had no idea what had happened. But that was definitely good news after the game. Yeah.
Jacob, I imagine this is part of the reason that you chose Virginia. What is it like to see this year kind of play out in the way I imagine you were hoping it would?
Yeah, it was everything I could hope for. Obviously, the history of this program and just kind of like the culture that is embedded into it, it speaks for itself. And, coming from Salisbury, it's a lot of similarities, and, I'm just glad to be a part of it and contribute in any way I can.
Jay, middle innings twice, you've got a runner at second base, no outs, and you have to make some big pitches. What did that give you in terms of confidence to get out of those 2 jams, especially the pickoff, because you really celebrated when you hit?
Yeah, that's I don't think people really understand those situations. Outside of being an athlete, we work on stuff like that in practice. So, when it comes to the game, it's up to us to execute that. It was just a high of emotion. It's just we finally executed it. The first one to Henry Garbow, I was early, and I was kind of beating myself up on the mound, and then Drew called it again. So I was like, okay, he saw something. And right when Griff put the tag down, I kind of lost it. But, yeah, like I said, those things we just work on in practice. Every situation, Coach puts us in situations in practice that, we got to get out on our own. So that wasn't really like a thing I was scared of or anything. It was just, second nature. Like, we just go get it and we go after it.
I've been telling him for weeks he's been too early on the pick. And he finally got it right. I think that's why we were so excited. He's been too early for weeks. So we were practicing that.
Yeah. Jacob, when did you realize Jay had good stuff tonight? And did you sense it early, the middle innings? When did you kind of get an idea and just what so well for Jay through your eyes tonight?
I realized it in the bullpen before the game. I could tell his sense of calm confidence radiating from him, just, warming up. And then obviously he showed that throughout the, first couple innings, obviously the 1 home run. But, we moved past that 1 pitch at a time. His stuff was electric. Obviously, fastball was coming out really well. Cutter was working really well, you know. Every pitch was available in any count. I mean, it's the best I've seen him all year, and I was, you know, in the best situation too.
Chris, you underplay in second base. I think you just slid through. Did you try to hold the tag on it the whole time? Did you kind of what happened?
Yeah, I mean, he beat the throw pretty clearly, and so the only opportunity to get that out is holding on the tag. But we were actually in a shift, so there was no one at third base. So I had to hold the tag regardless because there was no one at third, so I didn't want him to run to third. And it just so happens that he slid off the bag. So
Wait, it was nobody at third?
well, it was supposed to be you. Jay was supposed to be at third, but he wasn't.
We'll work on that.
So I was,
Preston, Griff, you've obviously seen Jay play for a long time, going back to high school. Just what's it like watching him kind of go through everything this season and come out today?
Yeah, I was just telling him how much confidence I had in him coming into this game because I've seen him in a state championship, unfortunately, against him, and I see what he does in games like this. But yeah, I mean, it's just they're just guys who are big game pitchers, and I had all the confidence in the world with him going up there. But yeah, definitely kind of seeing his resilience throughout the season has been pretty incredible. He's done a really good job of turning the page, you know, from appearance to appearance, and that's why he was such a perfect guy for this situation. It was a clean slate. Have a performance like that in the playoffs, and that's all you're going to think about. And he's done a great job with that all year. So.
This is for Griff and Jacob. You guys had 3 quality starts from your pitchers this weekend. Can you just talk about just that fact and just how that carried you guys from an offensive standpoint as well?
You want to start, man?
Yeah, I got it. I mean, yeah, from an offensive standpoint, I mean, it's huge. You know, the guy on the mound is going to shut it down and give us zeros after we score. Obviously, you know, they have the same type of confidence we have in them. So, you know, when we can go out there and just kind of execute pitches, I mean, I'm back there, I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing the confidence, you know, just embedded in every guy we have on that bump. It gives us a lot of confidence as hitters to, you know, go out there and, you know, support them too, because, I mean, they're doing everything that they can to give us some zeros, keep us in the game, and it allows us to do our job.
Griff, having seen this program over a number of years, one of the things that stands out is how consistently you guys execute. We talk about the kickoff play and things like that. What is the genesis of that? How does that come about? Why is this program so good at performing those type of tasks consistently?
Yeah, you know, I think we do a really good job with a lot of the small details of the game that get overlooked generally, which is a testament to the coaches and, you know, kind of how we run day-to-day activities, practices. We treat everything super high intensity, which I feel like is a reason why, you know, this team has success at this point of the year. Since day one, the first practice in September, whatever it is, you know, the intensity that we bring to every single drill, every single rep, kind of what we were talking about, like we've been practicing that pickoff, the perfect timing for it. Just all the small details that slow the game down when it's with a crowd like this or in a situation like this. So I think it's, you know, it's a lot of things put together, but I think overall it's just preparation and how we handle the day-to-day business.
Hey, fellas, we're going to let Bryce get you guys back over to the locker room, and we'll turn it over to questions for Coach O'Connor. Stay. If you guys want, it's up to you guys. You guys can stay, or if you guys want to head on back again.
It's up to you.
All right, Jeff.
Brian, we've always had good crowds for NCAA tournament games here, but it seems like
Yes.
the fans took it kind of to another level last year, and they kept it there this year, if not exceeded it. What's it mean to maybe get at least 2 more games at home?
Well, I'm not exaggerating this at all. You know, we've been fortunate to host 11 regionals here, and by far this was the best crowd and the most electric that it has been in those 11 times hosting. And, you know, so it was impressive. I think that was part of the build-off from last year, Jeff. You know, with our stadium expansion that we did 5 years ago, last year was the first time we hosted a regional with that expansion. And I think you got more people out. I think the initiative that our administration decided 2 years ago to let kids 18 and under in free, you know, throughout the season, the last couple of years, our our crowds have gotten better and better, and then when you get this opportunity, they just all come out. So it's been a process. It's been, hosting a number of years and some of the initiatives we've done and how great the ballpark is now for our fans. It's a joy for these guys because of they get to perform in it, but it's a reward for the fans when you get a chance to host an NCAA regional because they've come out all year and supported them. So it goes both ways, and so just it's critically important to the success of our program. And listen, I've shared this with our President Ryan, before, that I just really believe whatever school you're at, it is important to be good in baseball. And the reason I believe that is there's no other college athletics going on, right? And you have a chance in June to play on national television, potentially for 4 weeks. And what that can do, not only for your program, but what it can do for your university, I think is really important. And so we're proud of what we've done, and that part of that is our fans have come out and supported us.
Mike and then Greg.
Brian, you said last night to us that you don't like to over tinker with the lineups and things like that.
Yeah.
You recruit guys you trust and you stick with them. You did that with Jay. What was your expectation for him coming into tonight, and did he exceed it?
Well, I first want to say that Coach Dickinson and I decided 2 weeks ago that when we got to this point, Jay Woolfolk would be our third starter. And I know Jay kind of sensed that in some of the conversations that I had with him. He was going to start Game 3 in the ACC tournament had we made it there. And, he's got really electric stuff. He had some bumps in the road this year, but those bumps made him tougher and prepared him for the opportunity that he had tonight. And I just believed that he could get us off to a good start. But as the game started moving on in the middle innings, I mean, he was just determined. When he managed that inning with a runner on second base and no outs, I just kept feeling that we had something special here tonight. And I just kept telling myself in my mind that I was not going to make the mistake that I made in 2021 against Mississippi State when I took Griff McGarry out of the game just because of what I felt like his pitch count was. And Mississippi State ended up scoring 5 runs to win the game in a pivotal game in Omaha. And he was in complete command of the game. Unfortunately, it had to take him out in the 9th because it looked like that long inning, a 30-some minute inning, that he looked like he lost a little bit on his fastball and it was time to make a move. But overall, had an extreme confidence, because I know what he's been through and the tough times that you go through that he's been through this year grows some thick skin and prepares you potentially for this kind of opportunity.
Greg and Preston.
What were you guys looking for from Jay to get him to the point where he could start again? You heard again, and then like.
Yeah, just try to. The situation allowed it to try to lengthen him out a little bit. When we played the game against Florida State in Charlotte, when we fell behind, I told Coach Drew we need to get him in there as soon as possible, because part of your job as the coach, the leader of the program, is to forecast things and prepare players for what potentially could happen. And so. Hey, listen, we all know that he was in our rotation at the beginning of the year. For the best thing for our team, we needed to make some changes, and there was growth with him throughout the season, and all of it, I think, prepared him. Most importantly, he never lost his confidence. He believed that he could get the job done, and he's right. Sometimes it came down to one pitch. And, Dakota Jordan, who's a great player, put a great swing on a ball, and to see Jay respond after that, to not let that affect him the rest of the game, was as impressive as I've seen. So.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the name Griff McGarry. He lost his spot in the rotation early in the year, and came back towards the end. Just what is it about pitchers and just kind of bringing them back in the postseason and just knowing they
Well, first of all, they have to have the right attitude and approach to it, and I've met with Jay Woolfolk a few different times in my office throughout this season. We had some conversations about what he needed to do, and it's how he takes those conversations. And he took them like a man and had the right attitude and the right approach. And when somebody does that, it's going to come back around. And it is kind of like Griff McGarry, Griff struggled there in the middle of the season, but to get to where you want to get to, your guys that have the greatest amount of ability, you need to prepare to win this time of the year. And that's why he got the ball and he showed what he's capable of doing.
Brian, kind of lost in all the unraveling of the ninth inning. How big was the two-run single that started everything by Luke Hansen, the guy that last night you praised and wasn't even in the game?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned last night, as great of night as Eric Becker had, that, we were in a situation and those two young men understand what their role is and that we're in a platoon situation. And once I knew that they were going to start a left-handed starter, Luke Hansen was going to be in there. And he made a fantastic play at third base, a couple of other slow roller bounders coming in that he made the play on. And so we've got confidence in both of those guys, and that hit was huge. It was the big hit, I think, that led to us being able to open it up a little bit. And we all have confidence in Luke, just like we do the other guys. And it was his moment, and he stepped up and put a good swing on the baseball.
Following up question I asked Griff, how does the preparation you guys have help become a separator for you? There's a lot of teams that have really good players, but how is it your preparation helps separate?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. It's the backbone of what we do. Okay, as Griff mentioned, it's every day, it's relentless. Okay, I'll never forget when I was at Notre Dame, having an opportunity to watch Coach Holtz run a practice at Notre Dame, and I'll never forget him saying that Saturdays are easy for them because of how they prepare every day. That Saturdays are a walk in the park because of what they do from Sunday to Friday. And, I've always believed that, if you prepare them the right way, put them in challenging situations in practice with a feverish pace every day. And there's days that we intentionally take the reins off a little bit, that when the lights are the brightest, when the moment's the biggest, their heart rate slows down a little bit and they're able to execute. And the details, as Griff was speaking of, the details, I believe, are what separates teams this time of the year. You got to do what you have to do to get there, but when you get there, if you have prepared the right way all year long and you take care of the little details of the game, Griff O'Ferrall's bunt there, the surprise bunt that created havoc. Well, we practice that every day. And so you do those things constantly in whatever phase of the game it is. They have this thing that is the most important thing called self-confidence. And they believe, because of their preparation every day, that they can perform. They might not get it done all the time, but they're prepared and they believe in themselves.
Take our last two questions from Mike and Jeff.
Brian, what was it about Jacob that attracted you to him? Why did you think he would fit this culture, this program, and be a good piece?
Well, Coach Mack did the legwork and did the evaluation. We were, as I've said before, when Kyle Teal left us and went into professional baseball and had caught almost every inning for 2 years, we knew that we were going to convert Ethan Anderson, and he's done a terrific job, but we knew that we needed somebody else with some experience. And looked at a lot of catchers in the transfer portal, some big-name catchers that are catching at some big-name schools right now, and we decided that Jacob Ference was the right fit for us. Certainly, being the all-time home run leader at Salisbury helps, okay? But in the conversations that we would have on the phone. And I remember one of them like it was yesterday, where he was, and I think you were in Myrtle Beach, riding jet skis, you know, and I was down in Georgia doing some high school recruiting, and had a 45-minute conversation with him about why. Like, why do you want to do this, and why would UVA be the right place? And it's those answers that you hear. You have to have talent and skill, which he possessed, but it's the why that's important, because we want to make sure it's the right guy that's going to join forces with us moving forward. And we're just so grateful that it has worked out.
A lot of the talk about your team going into the regional was about its offense. And
Yes.
explosiveness. The big story coming out was the quality of pitching you got. How does that change? More baseball play, how does that change things going forward?
I'm excited, Jeff. You know, like, I can't tell you, like, I can't sit still. Like, what our pitching did this weekend and our defense was awesome. I told the team after the game, I'm as proud of this team as any team that we've coached here. And, you know, we pitched it the best that we pitched all year at this time, and that just speaks to who they are. They can handle the moment. And Coach Dickinson, let me tell you, he's been here 5 years, and the games he calls at this time of the year are his best games. He's prepared and trusts. He believes in every pitcher that we run out there. And yeah, a lot has been made about our offense, and rightfully so. It's one of the top offenses in the country. You know, but this weekend we had to do enough offensively, and we were led by our pitching and defense. And this time of the year, you're going to face great arms in the other dugout, so you got to pitch great and you got to play great defense. And it excites me for what we can potentially do moving forward.